Hi everyone, welcome to Anima del Mare. This space is where we explore ancient rituals, the latest research in psychology and neuroscience, and we put it into actual real-life practice every episode. This is where ancient wisdom and modern science softly meet. I'm so glad you're here with me today. This is my first ever YouTube video. And I created this channel because I'm deeply spiritual and I love learning about those ancient rituals that everyone used to practice, but I'm also a student in clinical psychology. So this channel kind of blends the two. We deep dive into ancient practices, and then we also look at the latest studies in the field of psychology to just kind of ground all this beautiful knowledge into one place. So thank you for being here. Before we get into January and some of the themes I want to talk about around it, I want to say something really important. You don't need to feel motivated right now, and you don't need a new identity. One thing I want to normalize in these first couple weeks of January is a lot of people are going to be feeling heavier or quieter than they expected. And that doesn't mean that you're behind. It means that your nervous system is recalibrating after all the stimulation that happened, with holidays and all of that. So that slowing is not a problem. It's just part of the process. I think January tends to surface what I would call this quiet kind of grief, and not because something went wrong again, but I think, a chapter really did end. Even if life is feeling really good, the ending still needs to be felt. I think across cultures, January has never truly been about becoming someone new immediately. It has been treated as a threshold, a liminal space between what has ended and what has yet to begun. So thresholds are never meant to be rushed. I think modern culture often kind of pushes January as a time for forced productivity and rushed innovation, but historically, this month was honored as a pause, as a symbolic doorway. So today I'm going to guide you through 3 different layers. So first we'll get into what I like to call the soul level. We're going to talk about ancient January rituals across different cultures. And then second, we'll get into that science layer. So I want to talk about some psychology and research that has just been coming out around the month of January, kind of explaining why these rituals that have been practiced for thousands of years actually work and how they're connected to us today. And then finally, we're going to end with a nice grounding practice, because I think the most important thing is to embody what you actually just learned or discussed. So let's begin with the soul layer. So across ancient cultures, January rituals were sharing some common themes, I would say. Purification, release, orientation, and blessing. So there was no hustle, there was no pressure or becoming anything. In ancient Rome, the month of January was named after Janus, the god of doorways, thresholds, and transitions. Janus is depicted with 2 faces, one facing backwards and one facing forward. And this is such a clear psychological symbol. January was about reflection and alignment, not immediate action. Now I want to give you some examples of how this plays out across cultures around the world so we can kind of really get a better idea of how January is perceived. In Japan, New Year, Shogatsu, begins with a ritual called Osoji. And I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not. But this is a deep, intentional cleansing of the home. This isn't about productivity or perfection. It's about preparing the space to welcome the sacred. And the belief is very simple yet profound. You don't invite new life, new blessings, and meaning into a place that hasn't been cleared. And what I love about this is the work happens before the new year. Once that threshold is crossed, the focus turns into rest and presence and receiving. On New Year's Eve, Buddhist temples ring a bell 108 times. The number 108 represents what Buddhism calls kleshas. This is mental and emotional afflictions such as greed, anger, envy, ignorance, resentment, pride, delusion, all of those. And it's not sins, it's patterns of suffering. Each bell symbolically clears one layer of that mental burden. What I love about this ritual is you don't have to name all your pain. You don't have to resolve every issue. The sound does the work for you. The repetition does the work for you. And the nervous system is allowed to release what it's been carrying. In Chinese New Year's traditions, cleaning happens before the New Year begins, which this year is going to be February 17th. It is the year of the fire horse. We will get into that in later episodes. Whew, I'm so excited for a fire year. But once the year starts, which, like I said, February 17th, sweeping is traditionally avoided because symbolically you don't want to sweep away good fortune. In Greek Orthodox traditions, January includes blessings of the water, which happens on January 6th. Water is blessed as a symbol of purification and renewal. People enter the water not to just be pushed forward into the year, but to be cleansed and reoriented before it begins. And then lastly, in Northern Europe, where it's so cold, fire festivals pop up towards the end of January, which I think is very telling. It's not right when winter starts, and it's not right when it's over. It's right in that little between moment when people are feeling really tired. The fire wasn't for drama or anything. It's for comfort. It's for the community to come together and say, okay, we're cold, we're exhausted, but we're still alive and we're still doing this together. And I think that is such a different energy than forcing optimism. It's more like holding the light until the body is ready to actually believe it. So we see the similarities, right? I just think it's so fascinating. Different cultures, different symbols, the same underlining wisdom. January was a month of honored transition. Okay, now let's move into the science. So modern psychology now confirms what ancient rituals understood intuitively. Change does not occur through pressure. It occurs through safety. The nervous system resists change not because you're lazy or undisciplined, but because survival comes first, always. And without safety, the system is always just going to cling to what it already knows. There's a concept in psychology called the fresh start effect. These are landmarks like New Year's Day that create psychological separation from the past self. It allows for new identities to form and that old identity to loosen. There's this peer-reviewed study that was done in 2025 that found when people experience these time-based landmarks like New Year's Day, they report greater psychological distancing from their past self and higher motivation towards future goals. It creates this kind of mental clean slate effect that increases people's sense of a fresh start, not just because of the date, but because it feels psychologically meaningful to them. It's a psychologically meaningful transition. But here's the key. When this moment is paired with self-punishment and force, it backfires. When it's paired with safety and meaning, it works. So I think this is a beautiful time to do some inner work because, like I mentioned, the nervous system needs to feel safe before we really begin the new year. Think about the Japanese traditions of cleaning the home, but we're going to be doing it with our mind. I think one of the biggest mistakes we can make in January is making big life decisions from a nervous system that hasn't settled yet. Clarity comes after regulation, never before it. So if you feel called, work through those old narratives, decide what thoughts are staying with you this year, what thoughts are no longer serving you, and go deep into the why behind these thoughts. What happened in childhood that created those thoughts? that don't serve you anymore? What is the meaning behind the new thought that you want to bring in this year? And if you feel called to do this inner work in January, I would say think less about unearthing the past and more about asking, what helps my nervous system feel safe right now? That sense of safety is what is going to allow new patterns to take root later. Your nervous system needs to be able to actually handle the new beginning or the new thought that you want to call in. If your nervous system isn't regulated, your subconscious patterning is always going to override and make it harder for that new life to land. And I also recommend, instead of asking, what am I manifesting this year? What do I want to manifest in January? I think a better question is, what am I no longer willing to carry with me into this new year? If nothing is feeling clear right now, that doesn't mean you're blocked. It means that you're still in that threshold. And that's exactly where you need to be. Just allow yourself to get curious in these next few weeks. There was another study done in 2025 that found that intrinsic motivation, doing something because it personally feels meaningful, predicts success in the New Year's resolutions much, much more strongly than external motivation or pressure. Now, I think this is important because I think what this proves is that authenticity is essential when it comes to really achieving what you want to do in this life. People don't stick to change because they want it badly enough. They stick to change because their motivations feel honest and aligned. The same structure appears in trauma-informed therapy, nervous system work, psychedelic assisted healing. It's always preparation, containment, meaning, integration. January isn't asking you to just completely reinvent yourself. It's asking you to just listen to yourself. Listen to what your heart is truly, truly longing for. Not because it will be impressive to others, but because it truly, truly lights you up inside. This year coming up feels like the old days of performance are out, and the tangible, unique realness of you and everyone is so in. Okay, so that is all I have today for the soul and science this week. If you feel called to stick around, we're going to end the episode with a grounding ritual to take the first step into getting quiet just for a minute with yourself. Thank you so much. Go ahead and place both feet firmly on the ground. Let your shoulders drop a little and unclench your jaw. Take a slow inhale through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do that again. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Allow yourself to sink just a little bit deeper. January is a threshold month. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about helping your nervous system slow down for just a few minutes so you can actually hear what's true for you. For a moment, imagine you're standing in a doorway. You're not rushed to go through it. You're not late. You don't need to decide anything yet. In front of you, there's a beautiful stone path. Right now isn't the time to force forward, but just to simply notice what's ahead of you. Allow yourself to glance back for just a moment. Behind you is 2025, all of the memories. You don't need to analyze it. You don't need to grade it. Just acknowledge it. Notice what it gave you. Notice what it took. Notice what it taught you about your limits, your resilience, your needs. And when you're ready, let yourself thank it. Not because it was perfect, but because you lived it. Now gently turn your attention back to the path in front of you. Along the edges of this path, there's space for planting. You don't have to know everything that will grow this year. You're just choosing what you want to tend to. Imagine your thoughts, your intentions, your ways of living as what you plant here. Some things might feel like flowers, beauty, softness, joy, creativity. Some might feel like nourishment, fruits, vegetables, roots, rest, boundaries, truth, consistency, play. Notice what your body is drawn to. Not what sounds impressive, not what you think you should plant. What feels medicinal for you? There's no rush to plant everything today. You're allowed to begin with just one. When you're ready, imagine yourself taking one step onto the path. Not towards an outcome, but into a relationship with what you've chosen to nourish. Take a slow, deep breath. Inhale. Exhale through the mouth. As you breathe, let your body recognize that nothing is being asked of you right now. Quietly, either out loud or in your mind, say, I release what is complete. I release what is not mine to carry. I release the version of me that survived, so the rest of me can speak. Now gently place one hand on your chest and one on your belly. And I want you to ask one simple question, not with your mind, but with your body. What is my system actually asking for this week? You don't need a sentence. A word is just enough. A sensation is enough. Let whatever came up be valid, even if your mind wants to argue with it. And as we close, say out loud or in your mind, this month is a threshold. I do not have to rush it. I am allowed to become slowly. Take one final breath, and when you're ready, let your eyes soften open. Thank you so much for sharing this space with me. It truly means so much. I will see you in the next episode. Take care.